皆さん、こんにちは。今日は素敵なドライブがしたい気分ですか？風を髪に受けながら景色を楽しんだり。ここではその代わりに私たちがあなたを高速のアクションにお連れする準備万端です。マッハ555の話題でね。さあ、エンジンをかけて。この番組はPaws onアニメーション。
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
We've already talked about the iconic Speed Racer series, but did you know there was actually a reboot/sequel series in the 2000s?
Now that series is Speed Racer: The Next Generation. The series focused on Speed Racer's son, also named Speed for some reason, who attends a racing high school in the middle of a desert, which is never explained, and discovers not only the mysterious Mach 6, but also about his father's mysterious disappearance.
So much mystery.
Now what isn't a mystery is Yuli doing our opening for this Speed Racer: The Next Generation again. Thank you, Yuli. You are awesome. Girl power.
Yes, that was fantastic. So for this show, we actually saw this one on Amazon. It came on Nicktoons many years ago, back when the Speed Racer movie was out, and they were kind of getting like a little spin-off series and other publicity for it.
And we got to see it for free on Amazon Prime as part of the Prime package, which it no longer is, I'm sorry to say.
Right. But we did get to see the entire thing, and it was surprisingly really good.
Yes, definitely.
It was done in Flash animation, so it was a little bit weirder sometimes with some animations they did or the way they looked or moved. But the cars and the races were done in CGI, so at least it was some time for some fluidity when they did those parts.
Right. And there was a lot of action. Especially during the car races, there was a lot of action.
Right.
A lot of, as you said, colors, vibrance, special effects that went on, and it really made it exciting.
Right. Kind of like it was kind of remind you of Code Lyoko because when they would train with the cars, they would go through these little portals and they would end up in all these different, almost look like video game levels. And then whoever came out was the winner of the test. And every once in a while it would change. Either be in a desert, be somewhere cold. They would be in a futuristic game, and at least it was providing something for the racers and a bit of a challenge.
Now, I know that if you've ever watched the original series, regardless of when, you've had a lot of questions like what happened to Speed, what happened to Trixie, what happened to Mom and Pop, Racer X, and all these questions were answered in this series.
That's correct. And as you know, it's a Speed Racer Junior. He has a Speed Racer Senior now. And they actually have a pretty cool story for what happened with Speed. And lots of stuff happened. We won't ruin it all for you in case you want to see it. But it was actually pretty interesting. And then what happens later to where it just changed the status quo, it was kind of surprising. But we'll say this. When Speed's not being an action hero, he's kind of a diva. My gosh, he is like Chase Young levels of diva.
Yeah.
Let's fame went to his head.
But it's interesting how the series starts off, how you learn that there's a Speed Racer Junior. And how he ends up teaming up with his own team for his racing. And just like his dad, he's an excellent racer.
And they have, I think his friend Lucy, who was the mechanic. And they had, I think the guy.
Yes, they shipped her. They shipped them.
And then I think the guy's name was Connor. And they had a robot chimp called Chim Chim.
Right.
Well, at least now, he said, can you tell the difference? Like, obviously, yes. But you should have named him at least something like Chim Chim 2.0, Robo Chim. Something to where the name's different because you're going to think, wait a minute, what did you do to the original Chim Chim? You turned him into a cyborg? What's wrong with you?
Possibly. And as you always say, they use the same trope. They were all going to a high school for learning how to be the optimal racer.
Right. And they also had the bully and later friend. It was X. His name was literally X. Not spelled like, it sounds like X. It's the letter X. That's his name. It's like, okay, these people don't know how to name their kids in this show. And also, a really great shout out, they had Peter Hernandez, the original... I'm sorry. Peter Fernandez, the original Speed Racer, actually come and do a voice of the grown-up Spritle on the show for the first season. Unfortunately, he passed away before the end of the series, so he was replaced by Greg Abbey. But it was awesome having him on there.
Yes.
And that was kind of the shout-out where they had Speed talking to Speed about Speed and the past Speed and the future Speed. It was like, wow, that's just all in one. It was like the Adam West. It was all like Adam West and Will Friedle when it came to that.
And I love when they pay homage to the originals. So many of these reboots and prequels that are made and so forth don't even recognize the people who originally made the series or the movies what they were. And I think it was great, like you said, that they brought him back. It didn't matter it was decades later.
Right.
He was who helped to make Speed Racer the success that it was.
Right.
His voice was perfect. He did great. And he'll be forever known as Speed Racer.
Yes, and
he's left his legacy.
Yes, and that was just like an awesome thing for them to do.
Yeah.
And like we said, they also had their own little filler episodes. They had the prom thing, they had the comedy thing, they had the mean girl, they had the principal, they had the standard characters at the time because, you know, now everyone's fleshed out as heck nowadays. But for the time, it was okay. It was never overbearing or anything or irritating. Yeah, there were still pretty good characters, and they still had some surprises for you.
Oh, they had a lot of surprises. And that's one thing I can say about this reboot or sequel. There were so many surprises because, again, you want to know what happened to all these characters and what do they end up doing. And there's so many that are just jaw-dropping. We are not going to spoil any of the revelations.
And it was pretty ahead of its time because of the cartoons. If you think about the cartoons now, they have so many twists and turns and stuff that makes you want to binge watch that stuff till the very end. And at the time, Speed Racer was a little bit ahead because, except for like Avatar, Shaolin Sheldon, there wasn't a lot because it was like early 2000s. 2010s, till then we didn't have a lot of heavy plot-driven shows or action, and it was pretty much standout or unsung hero of those types of cartoons because of, like you said, the many surprises that came and the twists and the revelations, the characters, the writing. And even though it did not, make it to the next season, like the third season, like it was supposed to, it had a pretty good run for the 2 seasons it had.
What I think when these things happen, like when this got a reboot or sequel, people are looking and expecting to be like the original. Well, the original was made in the 60s. They very well could not come out with a sequel that was like the 60s show in the 2000s. It had to be different. It had to be interesting. It had to hold the attention of the viewers. You know, decades later, they could not make it a copy, and they could not do that.
Right.
I think for the time it was made, they did a great job, as you said. It was perfect for that time, and it's great to actually go back, and if you're able to watch this and see the animation during that time, as you said, the writing, the type of characters they had during that time. And it's different from now, but it's so well done and entertaining that you won't sit and look at it like, oh, well, this is an old cartoon. You won't feel like that. When you're watching it, it's going to be just like you are. It's just the right time period, and you'll get into it, and you'll love it. And that's also an indicator of great writing and great development when you can watch something that's from prior years or even decades, and you feel really good watching it like, hey, this is normal, this is now. And that's the way it feels like watching this, that it feels right.
Right. And they had lots of promotional stuff for it too. Because like with Green Lantern happened, this show got canceled because the Speed Racer movie flopped at the box office. So it was meant to help that movie along. They would help each other out, so you have like 2 things to watch at the same time. But unfortunately, when the movie did not work out, the show got axed as well.
It wasn't that the movie worked out, it was that people were expecting something that it wasn't, which we will cover in another podcast this month, so stay tuned.
That's correct. And also like to point out one more thing. They had quite a few different versions of Speed Racer, which I didn't know about at first. Like right after Speed Racer in the 90s, they tried to have Speed Racer X. It was more action packed and probably violence. Then they tried to have one for an internet series where it was just strictly Flash, and that didn't look right, so that didn't really go anywhere. Then they had one was an all-American Speed Racer instead of a Japanese Speed Racer, and I had never even heard of it till like last week because it was like, wait, that existed, and it doesn't even look like the same show. Well, I can understand why that one was obscure, but for a series go, this is probably the best one so far.
Didn't they have one that came from Brazil?
Yeah, there was a movie and the animation was not great, but the concept was good. It was just the animation was, I'm sorry, atrocious.
And it was great that they even attempted to pay homage and to, you know, do another movie dedicated to the franchise and the character. So that was great.
Right.
But it just didn't flesh out well for them.
And I still say Studio Mirror should do a Speed Racer reboot because they did so well with Voltron, and they do great works when it comes to adapting book series. I think they should do a Speed Racer one because think about how seriously you could take it. You could still have fun with the original and laugh and see all the stuff, kind of 80s Voltron. But with this new Speed Racer, you can really take it seriously and think about how well Voltron did in its popularity now, because now when people knew about Voltron, now all of a sudden it's a household name because of this reboot. And I think the same thing can happen to Speed Racer if they do it.
It wasn't so much that they didn't know about it. It was that earlier generations like myself knew.
That's right. I'm sorry.
But younger ones didn't. But now younger ones are watching it just like we did.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And yeah, I think it should really do it. But like I said, this is probably the best Speed Racer series after the original.
Definitely. It's worth taking a look at. Again, you'll like the graphics, you'll like the animation, you'll like the action, you'll love knowing what happened to all these characters. There's drama, there's suspense, there's always, and you know how in the old series where Speed would have his crashes and no one would get hurt and walk away? Well, don't expect that in this series. If you like NASCAR and you like crashes, this is the series for you.
It's like, the horror! So yeah, if you can also buy the series on DVD from Amazon as well, or you can watch it on Amazon Video, whether or not it's on Prime, I'm not sure anymore.
No, it's no longer on Prime.
Oh, okay.
So it's on Prime, but you have to pay.
Right. So if you want to buy the series and watch it, or if you want to watch it by streaming, you can do that as well, because it no longer airs on TV, not even reruns.
Right.
But you are welcome to check it out and see what you think, especially if you're a Speed Racer fan.
It's worth the look. So that's it for now.
Yep. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace and go, Speed Racer, go!
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man. Who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams.